Leishmaniasis. Leishmaniasis is a group of protozoal disease caused by parasite of genus Leishmania and transmitted to humans by bite of female phlebotoman sandfly. Okay, this is a basically a protozoal disease which was left in the protozoal disease. That's why we are covering this this class. It's caused by bite of female phlebotoman sandfly, and they are responsible for. I think we have completed Leishmaniasis. ठीक है. It causes visceral leishmaniasis. It causes cutaneous leishmaniasis called mucocutaneous leishmaniasis, anthroponotic cutaneous leishmaniasis, zoonotic cutaneous leishmaniasis, post kala azar dermal leishmaniasis. I think it is covered, but let us revise. है ना. Problem is first of all visceral leishmaniasis. Around 5 lakh cases of kala azar reported annually worldwide. India, Bangladesh, Brazil, Nepal and Sudan accounts for 90% of the global incidence. Within the countries, kala azar accounts for among poorest communities. First we will do for quickly we will do, because I think it has been completed in the previous class, but I am not sure. Okay. Cutaneous leishmaniasis occurs in dry, semi-desert rural areas of Central Asia, Middle East, North and West Africa, especially in Ethiopia and Kenya. 90% of cases occurs in Afghanistan, Brazil, Iran, Peru and Saudi Arabia. Another mucocutaneous leishmaniasis account for more than 90% of cases in Brazil, Bolivia and Peru. But this was distribution. Now in India, about 130 million population is at risk of the disease. Kala azar is endemic in 52 districts in Bihar, Jharkhand, West Bengal and UP. And in India, both cutaneous and visceral leishmaniasis, visceral disease it occurs, but visceral is by far the most important form. Okay. Now there is an increasing trend of disease in India. Okay, the visceral form particularly is increasing more than cutaneous form. Now zoonotic cutaneous leishmaniasis has been discovered in Rajasthan area in 1971. Total to 828 cases were reported, and cases of this kala azar has been done. Now the agents is leishmania are intercellular parasite. They infect and divide within the macrophages, and about 20 different leishmania parasites have been associated with human infection. They don't offer cross immunity with other of one against the other. The leishmania donovani, leishmania tropica and Leishmania brasiliensis. Donovani cause kala azar, and this kala azar dermal leishmaniasis, and tropica cause cutaneous, brasiliensis cause mucocutaneous leishmaniasis. ठीक है. Life cycle is completed in two forms, two hosts, that is vertebrate and insect. Vertebrate में amastrigate form and insect में promastrigate form. ठीक है. Now the reservoir of infection is variety of animal reservoir like dog, jackal, foxes, rodents and other mammals. Indian kala azar is considered to be non-zoonotic infection with man as a sole reservoir. Now the host factor. Age. All age groups are including infants are affected, with peak age is 5 to 9 years. Males are affected twice than females, and population movement of population between the endemic and non-endemic areas can result in spread of infection. Socio-economic status में usually strikes the poorest of the poor. Occupation में only in the farming practice, forestry, mining and fishing. They are more at risk than because of being bitten by sand fleas. Immunity recovery from kala azar and coriander should give a life at the lasting immunity, and during active phase of disease there is impairment of CMI. There is reflective in the negative skin test to Leishmanian test. Environmental factor में altitude, season, rural areas. For altitude it is mostly confined to the plains, and it does not occur in hilly areas or over the 2000 feet areas. Seasons में it is mainly in the rainy seasons more, and in the rural distribution it is more in rural as compared to urban populations. And depending on the other factors and the development projects. In India, sand fleas breeds in cracks and crevices in the soil and buildings, and overcrowding, ill ventilation, and organic matter they account for more of the disease. And the habit of the fleas is mostly nocturnal and the female bite. Mode of transmission, it is mainly transmitted person to person by bite of female Purpurine sandfly, and transmission take place by contamination of the bind wound or by contact when the insect is crushed during the contact act of feeding, blood transfusion, and contaminated syringe and needles. Now sandfly stages. Stage 1 is sandfly. This is a life cycle. It takes the blood meal. Okay, sandfly. Then stage 2, this promastigote forms are phagocytized by the macrophages and other types by monocytic phagocytic cell. Then this promastigote forms transfer into amastigote form. These amastigote they will go into these macrophages and they will divide. Now after then another sand flea takes a meal, blood meal, and will ingest the macrophage infected with amastigote form. Now this amastigote form ingestion of parasitized cell, and this amastigote form transformed to again transformed to promastigote stage, and they divide in the gut and migrate to proboscis. Okay, this is the life cycle. Now transmission जो है mainly being anthropomorphic transmission. Human is the only known reservoir of infection. Female sand fleas take up the parasite while feeding on an infected human host. Parasites undergo morphological change to become flagellated, and development and multiplication in the gut of the sand fleas and move to the mouth parts. Healthy human hosts get infected by an infective sand flea vector bites them. Now visceral enzyme, also known as Kala Azar, is fatal and is left if left treated in over 95% of cases. It is characterized by irregular bouts of fever, weight loss, enlargement of spleen and liver, and anemia, darkening of skin, and face, hands, feet, and abdomen is common in India, so it is known as plague sickness. And lymphadenopathy is also there. Now what is post Kala Azar? Dermal leishmaniasis. It is sequelae of visceral leishmaniasis. We are going fast because I think it has been covered, but let us revise because I am not sure. It is a sequelae of visceral leishmaniasis that appears at macular, papular, or nodular rash, usually on face, upper arms, trunks, and other parts of the bodies. It occurs mainly in the East Africa and on the Indian subcontinent, where 5 to 10% of patients with Kala Azar develop the condition. It is usually appears 6 months to 1 year or more years after the Kala Azar has apparently been cured, but can occur earlier also. With this post Kala Azar dermal leishmaniasis, they are considered to a potential source of infection. Okay. Now cutaneous leishmaniasis causes skin lesions, mainly ulcers on exposed part of the body, leaving the lifelong scars and serious disability. Several forms have been described, and this is and this disease may be mistaken for leprosy also. Now mucocutaneous leishmaniasis leads to partial total destruction of the mucous membrane of the nose, mouth, and throat. And leishmaniasis, HIV infection, HIV co-infections have high chance of developing the full-blown clinical disease and high relapse and mortality rate. Antiretroviral therapy reduces the development of the disease, delays the relapses, and increases survival of the co-infected patients. High leishmania HIV infection rates are reported in Brazil, Ethiopia, and the state of Bihar and India. Sign and symptoms: recurrent fever, loss of appetite, weakness, skin with dryness, and thin and scaly and hair. And persons show grayish discoloration of the skin of the hands, feet, abdomen, and face, which gives the Indian name Kala Azar, meaning black fever. This is symptoms like causes splenomegaly, hepatomegaly, lymphadenopathy, anemia, and anemia with emaciation. And typical appearance of the patient is this. Now, post Kala Azar dermal leishmaniasis, this occurs several years after the apparent cure of the Kala Azar. Signs symptoms include lesions consist of multiple nodular infiltration of the skin, usually without ulceration. Parasites are numerous in these lesions, and they have been restricted to the skin. Painful ulcer in the parts of the body exposed to the sandflies, reducing the victim ability to work. Quickly we go through. Now diagnosis. Sorry. Most infections are diagnosed clinically. The patients have irregular fever, anemia, and leukopenia, hepatosplenomegaly, bone marrow suppressions are characteristic feature. Okay. Lab investigation. First of all, we will do hematological investigation. We will see anemia, leukopenia, thrombocytopenia, and hypergammaglobulinemia. WBC count is to RBC ratio will be 1:1500, and there will be raised ISR. What are the other laboratory diagnoses? Parasitological, aldehyde or Napier test, serological test, Leishmanian या Montenegro test, or hematological findings. Now, what is the parasitological diagnosis? The demonstration of these LD bodies in the aspirates of spleen, bone marrow, lymph nodes are the same. Is the only way to confirm visceral or cutaneous leishmaniasis. However, sensitivity varies with the organ selected for aspiration. Okay. मतलब जहाँ पर भी organism will be more than and if we are not taking sample from that viscera, so definitely the sensitivity will be less. Okay. Spleen aspiration has the highest sensitivity and specificity, means it is considered as the gold standard splenic aspiration. Now, aldehyde test of Napier, 1 to 2 ml of serum from the case of Kala Azar is taken, and a drop or two of 40% formalin is added. Jellification to milky white opacity so that in ordinary light newsprint is invisible through it, and it is considered positive. Means what is the method? We will take 1 to 2 ml of serum from a case of already known diagnosed case of Kala Azar. We will we will take case 1 to 2 ml of serum, and we will add 1 or 2 drop of 40% formalin, and if there is opacification and is seen, and it is considered positive. The test is good for surveillance but not for diagnosis, and this is non-specific as it becomes positive in many other chronic inflammation in which the albumin to globulin ratio is reversed. Okay, means it is not specific for Kala Azar, because many disease in which albumin is to upon globulin ratio is reversed, then this test will be positive. Now, what is a serological test? Direct agglutination test, RK39, dipstick test, ELISA, and indirect fluorescent antibody tests are available. RK39 is rapid diagnostic test is based on recombinant K39 protein. It is epitope apparently caused on A masticate of Leishmania species that cause visceral infection. Now, diagnosis जो होता है it's done by rapid diagnostic test in the fields, and it results in 10 minutes can be serial, and kits have more than 90% specificity and sensitivity. These RZ kits are user friendly, and we have seen these things. Now, control measures में we have to control the reservoir, we have to treat the case, we have to control the sand flea, and we have to give personal prophylaxis. Now, what is the treatment? First of all, ये हो चुका है. Liposomal amphotericin B injection IV is given for and the dose is 10 mg per kg body weight. The second dose is multifacin capsule 10 mg for pediatric and 50 mg for adults. And the other drugs other than amphotericin B and multifacin, we can have paramomycin injection, combination of paramomycin injection, intramuscular and MIFI, and multifacin injections. And for HIV co-infected, this also liposomal amphotericin B will give, but the dose will be 30 mg per kg body weight. Okay. And for post-Kala Azar dermal leishmaniasis, we will do multifacin 100 mg oral per day for 12 weeks. Okay. And now this we will go to another H. pylori infection. Okay. Let's come to H. pylori infection. Okay. H. pylori infection, human stomach long considered inhospitable for bacteria, spiral shaped organism. It occasionally it is visualized in gastric mucus layer, but no evidence of disease association. ठीक है. Organism classified first as Campylobacter pylori, now Helicobacter pylori. Okay, other species of Helicobacter isolated from stomach, intestine of other animals. Marshall and Warren cultured organism from human gastric mucosa and show association with gastric inflammation. But it's the historical background. Now basically जो वारन मार्शल who cultured this organism, they according to him, this is a campylobacter like organism. It has spiral shaped colonies in the gastric mucosa, and basically it is a ketological agent in gastritis and peptic ulcer, and so it colonizes 50% of the individuals. Now general characteristics of H. pylori. H. pylori is a major human pathogen associated with gastric and antral epithelium in patients with active chronic gastritis. Stomach of many animal species also colonized. Urease, gastric strain only, mucinase and catalase positive. This is the microbiological feature of the organism. But first, it is mostly isolated from patient gastric antral epithelium from the patient of active chronic gastritis. Second is it is urease, mucinase and catalase positive and highly motile organism, and mainly we get the organism from this gastric antral epithelium. The third is it is colonized in the human intestinal tract. It is isolated from homosexual men with proctitis, other than gastric mucosa. Proctitis, proctocolitis, enteritis and bacteremia are often transmitted through sexual practices also. Means only the gastric mucosa is not the source, but it can also be from the homosexual men infected with proctitis or proctocolitis. Okay. Now we will do silver staining of H. pylori on gastric mucosa. Okay. Now it is a gram-negative spiral-shaped motile with unipolar tuft. See this unipolar tuft of Lopotrichus flagella. This flagella in the one end, unipolar tuft is seen, which is characteristic shape of this H. pylori. Okay, it is a gram-negative spiral rods, unipolar flagella, microaerophilic, urease positive. Okay, the most important character is because this question is asked, urease positive, catalase positive, mucinase positive, so we should know. It is helical in shape, इसलिए helicobacter, gram negative, blunted round ends, है ना? We have seen in the previous slide. See this slide. They have blunted round ends, and in the gastric, where we will get the from which part biopsy, from the gastric biopsy specimens. Cell become rod-like and cocoidal product culture, produces urease, mucinase and catalase. Okay. This H. pylori tuft of 4 to 6 sheathed flagella attached to one pole, single polar flagellum on. But the other species maybe they have told it has single polar flagellum on H. phenoli and H. cynadidi. Smooth cell wall with unusual fatty acids. Now what is a transmission route? The first one is oral transmission, oral fecal. Okay, human infects the human stomach, produces inflammatory response. This brings up the point of importance of hand washing. Now dynamics of H. pylori infection. What are the different mechanism through which it can infect? First is flagella. What is the mode? Bacterial fragility provides bacterial mobility and chemotaxis to colonize into the mucosa. Through this flagella they will go they are mobile and they will they will colonize under the mucosa. Now this urease, what is the function of this? Because they are urease positive, na? So what is the urease? It will neutralize the gastric mucosal injury by producing ammonia. They will cause this one. They will cause mucosal injury by producing ammonia. The third one is lipopolysaccharide. What is the role of lipopolysaccharide? It will adhere to the host cells and causing inflammation. Now other proteins also help to adhere to the host cells. Okay. Now what are the type 4 secretion system, the pili-like structures for injection of effectors. Okay. Now exotoxin is vacuolating exotoxin, that is VAC-A, and causing the gastric mucosal injury. Now secretory enzymes, they will also secrete mucinase, protease, lipase, which causes gastric mucosal injury. But this was the mode, or these are the different role of different proteins, flagella and urease and enzymes they are liberating or they are having in pathogenesis. Now how we will culture and what are the biochemical characteristic feature? But first of all, it grows on chocolate agar. Campylobacter media. Okay, it grows under microaerophilic conditions and with the presence of 5, it will basically microaerophilic it was na, so it will require 5 to 20% of carbon dioxide. It is positive, it is catalase negative and urease positive and oxidase positive. Okay, it requires hydrogen H2S for its growth. Now what is the pathogenesis? We have already said this in the previous slide. There is type 4 secretory apparatus, that is translocates या CAG-A, possible interaction by needle-like organelle coated with a sheet CAG7 protein and phosphorylated and binds to HP2 tyrosinase phosphates and cytokine production IL-8 cytokines is released and growth factors like cellular response is there. After invasion, there is invasion and entrance of the mucus layer, where it goes and bind and insert into the mucosa, and intracellular pathology is there. Now this is the histopathology of the peptic ulcer in which the H. pylori was isolated. Okay? Now what are the immune and the inflammatory response of basically H. pylori? We read in so many spectrum. It can cause disease starting from the chronic active disease to chronic ulcers. Okay, this is H. pylori. It invades the mucosa. It causes tissue damage and activated T cells. There is recruitment and activation and recruitment of the T cells, inflammatory mediators, and first of all there is adhesion of bacteria to the mucus layer. Inflammatory mediators are released. They are reactivation, recruitment of the more of the inflammatory mediators causing tissue damage and thereby activated T cells. Okay, then causing gastric ulcer. So this is the inflammatory response to H. pylori. How it will cause ulcer? Because different type of ulcer it can cause. Na? Now what are the role of cytokines? है ना? सबसे पहले it will alter the secretion of mucus, because for the ulcer pathogenesis mucus का secretion is altered. So what are the different cytokines that has been involved in H. pylori pathogenesis? TNF alpha, IL-1 beta, INF-1 gamma, causing increased gastrin release, that which will stimulate the parietal cells. There is more of acid release. Okay, more of gastrin release, more of acid release. These three these three cytokines, TNF alpha, interleukin 1 beta, and INF this 1 gamma. This will cause increase of acid secretion and increase of gastrin release. Now TNF alpha will cause decrease in T cell number, decrease in D cell, decrease in somatostatin. तो क्या होगा? There will be increase in acid secretion. Ultimately means there is more and more of acid secretion causing ulcer. What are the this will think? This we have seen that it will cause ultimately destruction of the mucus layer and increase in the acid production, and this is the main pathogenesis for ulcer formation. And the gastric mucosa is the main part where they colonize. Okay, now for pathology and pathogens we see it colonizes in the gastric mucosa. It spreads by oral and oral contact. Fecal spread is also there. And what is the predisposing? Again, overcrowding and poverty, poor hygienic condition. It can cause mild to acute gastritis. This I have told ki it has lots of scenario in which it can be a pathogenic cause. Because routinely now in the endoscopy also we have to see for if patient is having a history of chronic gastritis and for so many years patient is taking like this proton pump inhibitor and he is having gastritis for so many years. So this is the protocol. We will exclude H. pylori infection also, because it can cause a vast spectrum of disease. Okay. Now it can cause mild to acute gastritis in the gastric antrum. It can cause gastric metaplasia. Okay. It can also cause from ulcer से लेकर it can cause gastric metaplasia also, and any part of the stomach can be involved, and it colonizes overlying the mucosa but do not invade the mucosa. मतलब some mucosa and under layers muscularis, this layers is not involved. It will colonize in the mucosa only. ठीक है. Major locations of H. pylori mainly this one, esophagus, then it cause peptic ulcer, in the duodenal ulcer, duodenal ulcer only, and can also called marginal ulcer. Now pathogenesis. It colonizes the mucosal lining of the stomach and duodenum in man and animals, adherent to the gastric surface epithelium or pit epithelium cells deep within the mucosal crypts adjacent to the gastric mucosal cells. This mucosa protects the stomach from its own gastric milieu of digestive enzyme and HCl. Okay, mucosa also protects H. pylori from immune response. The most gastric adenocarcinoma lymph nodes are concurrent with or preceded by an infection with H. pylori. But it can cause adenocarcinoma, lymphomas also. Now, pathogenesis we have seen in the previous slides also. It causes invasion. It colonizes in the mucus layer. There is antibody presentation, and Th1 and Th2 cells are involved. There is development of Th1 and Th2 cells causing gastric in the gastric lymph nodes, and it can cause involvement of this Th1 Th2 B cells, dendritic cells, macrophages, and other cells also. Now, virulence factors of H. pylori: multiple polar sheathed flagella, corkscrew motility, enables penetration into the VCS environment, है ना, क्योंकि बिकॉज उसका जो पोलर फ्लैजिला है उसमें दे causes corkscrew motility. What is the other virulence factor is adenosines, hemagglutinins, sialic acid binding adenosines, and Lewis body group adenosines. Mucinase, these are the virulence factors. Mucinase, it degrades the gastric mucus, localize the tissue damage. Then urease converts urea into bicarbonate and ammonia. And this we have already learned na, what are the different enzymes and different these proteins they are causing, they are releasing, and what are the different functions of this urease and mucinase and adhesive. Urease will cause the conversion of urea into bicarbonate and ammonia, which neutralizes the local acidic environment and causes localized tissue damage. Okay, and acid limited protein is also there. Now T cells, B cells we have learned in the H. pylori T cell or B cell response it causes. Now mechanism, this is also it causes, we have learned ki after corkscrew movement it will adhere to in the gastric mucosa, where this vacuum urease are released, where there is vacuolization and cell damage, inflammation, and IL-8 NK active secretion is there in the neutrophils also. They will cause infiltration of lamina propria, invasion in the macrophage. Now this we have learned ki what is the mechanism. It will cause urease will cause the lysis of the urea and liberating bicarbonate and ammonium ions, which causes neutralizing the acidic environment, which is favorable for the more H. pylori to invade them to colonize there. Now what are the other virulence factors? For tissue damage, there is vacuolating cytotoxin causing epithelial cell damage, and invasive, which is poorly defined hemolysin, example hemolysin phospholipase and alcohol dehydrogenase, and this is for tissue damage. For protection from phagocytosis and intracellular killing, there is superoxide dismutase and catalase. Means more indication for non-invasive, how will diagnose? First of all, what are the different indications for which we should suspect the patient is having H. pylori infection? This I have already told. If patient strongly recommended, if patient has dyspepsia, history of active ulcer disease, gastric mild lymphoma, following gastric cancer resection, following peptic ulcer surgery, first degree relative with gastric cancer, and long term NSAIDs therapy. Okay, these are the persons who should be have strongly recommended for having H. pylori test, for having dyspepsia, history of active ulcer, peptic ulcer disease, and operated for peptic ulcer surgery. है ना, एंड गैस्ट्रिक माइल्ड लिम्फोमा और फर्स्ट डिग्री रिलेटिव ऑफ पेशेंट who was having gastric cancer, and following gastric cancer resection also, and who is taking long term NSAIDs for pain or other causes. ये ठीक है. Now what are the types of H pylori test? This is very important because इसमें it is asked कि which is used for surveillance purpose, which is used for recurrence के लिए. तो first is endoscopy और stool in endoscopy we will have told कि endoscopy में we have to, if patient is having chronic history of gastritis, then we do this H pylori test in the endoscopy also, है ना. Basically it is kit test, but what are the different modes, which are the different things that we used to do? First is rapid urease test, second is histology, third is culture. This is for in the endoscopy. Another test is serological antibody test and stool antigen test, urea blood test, and urea carbon C13 urea blood test. Okay, and for urea, first we will see urea blood test. It detects the active infection, sensitive and specific, non-radioactive, and no special handling requirements, easy to collect and handle sample, not indicated in pediatric population. Okay, see, this is carbon dioxide in the breath. We will collect 2 liters of breath in the this balloon is there, and will transfer this carbon dioxide to the counting vial, and 10 ml of this scintillating fluid is taken, and this is the method. But we should know कि what is this urea blood test. Now what are the laboratory diagnosis? ये तो पहले अपन we have seen ना कि urea blood test, endoscopy, serological test, stool antigen test, and carbon dioxide blood test, urea blood test. Okay. Now what are the invasive and non-invasive? Is endoscopic, है ना. We will go for biopsy of the gastric mucosa. We will see culture also, biopsy culture, staining by special stains and ground staining, and culture more sensitive but takes 3 to 7 days, and biopsy testing for urease detection in the urea medium. Now laboratory identification recovered from the or detected in endoscopic enteral gastric mucosa material. Multiple biopsies are taken, many different transport medium and culture mediums containing whole or lysed blood. Microphilic, aerophilic environment is there. Grow well at 37 degree centigrade, but not at 25 nor at 42 degree centigrade. This question is also asked कि temperature is specific for their culture. Like Campylobacter does not use carbohydrates, neither fermentatively or non-oxidatively. Now, what is the non-invasive test? Serology, ELISA, urea breath test. In urea breath test, patient swallows urea solution, and in this test, patient drinks urea solution labeled with an isotope carbon. Okay, if H pylori is present in the urea and present in the urea is converted to ammonia and carbon dioxide in the breath measure. ठीक है. अगर पेशेंट को we will say कि swallow the urea solution with carbon labeled, radioactive carbon labeled carbon. Okay, अगर पेशेंट इज हैविंग H pylori infection तो क्या करेगा? इट विल कन्वर्ट दैट यूरिया टू कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड एंड अमोनिया. तो कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड विल सी इन द ब्रेथ. दिस measure है ना, क्योंकि it will convert into carbon dioxide and ammonia, and it will go to the breath, है ना, by exhalation. Now what are the suggested guidelines for treatment of patient with GI or ulcer disease? History and physical examination of feasibility, chronic history, active history है, and suppose what are the different spectrum we will get? Practical studies, undifferentiated dyspepsia, other symptoms of GERD and uses of, मतलब ये this was strongly recommendation है कि क्या क्या चीज़ में we have to recommend कि H pylori we have to do. तो first H pylori, undifferentiated dyspepsia, symptoms of GERD and use of NSAIDs or aspirin. तो for undifferentiated dyspepsia we will test for H pylori. If positive तो eradication therapy करके अपन confirmation of cure. And if it is negative H pylori, so test for other peptic ulcer disease, and we will start PPI and discontinue NSAID, because other causes of other peptic ulcer disease or other NSAIDs induced peptic ulcer disease can also be there, so we will treat that condition. Now what are the treatment modalities that we can do? Use of antibiotics, bismuth salts. First, injection of bismuth subsalicylate, antibiotics tetracycline and metronidazole for 2 weeks. Use of omeprazole, erythromycin. Do not treat for asymptomatic colonization. Drug is the growing problem. ठीक है, मतलब what are the different क्या होगा
लेकिन चार्जर देखना मेरा आपका नहीं।
We will see what different modalities. What are the different modalities? First, we should understand. Okay. Um, ठीक है. There are different emerging and drug resistance in H. pylori. Antibiotic treatment does not always completely inhibit or kill the H. pylori with potential for antibiotic resistance. Resistance to antibiotic is the single most important factor for declining H. pylori eradication rates. ठीक है. In Japan, resistance to antibiotic drugs has increased 4%, 400%, while in Taiwan and it is 500%. मतलब बहुत ज़्यादा there is resistance. ठीक है. Now, what are the different modalities of treatment we can do for H. pylori infection? Okay, there are different types of modalities of treatment we used to do. First we will do for like मतलब सबसे पहले we have to know कि क्या क्या drugs we will use for this H. pylori infection. First we have to give PPI inhibitors, a proton pump inhibitors. Huh? The second drug is, what are the different antibiotics we can give? We can give clarithromycin, we can give metronidazole, okay, we can give amoxicillin, okay, we can give and third drug is, the first is PPI, second is antibiotic, third is bismuth salt. Now there are different regimens: armed, triple drug, quadruple therapy. Okay, now what are the standard dose? First for PPI, if first of all first line is PPI plus clarithromycin plus metronidazole. ठीक है, तो clarithromycin 250 BD and metronidazole is 400 BD and all for 14 days. This kit cause मतलब basically the treatment is done through these kits which are one tablet BD for, we used to give H. pylori kit in the name of H. pylori kit, HP kit. Different types of combinations are there which can be either triple drug or quadruple therapy. Okay, in all of them there is omeprazole 40 milligram and clarithromycin or metronidazole is there. ठीक है. Now first we have seen PPI plus clarithromycin plus metronidazole. The second regimen is PPI plus clarithromycin plus amoxicillin. Now what is the dose of this amoxicillin? This is 1 gram BD is given. Okay, and the third regimen is PPI or ranitidine. But the PPI like omeprazole we can give. If PPI we are not giving, so what can we do? We can give ranitidine also. ठीक है. And plus antibiotics में क्या क्या we can give? Amoxicillin, clarithromycin, metronidazole. Okay, तो different regimens are there. Okay, कि what are the different antibiotics we can use and what are the different regimens. In all regimens we have to either use proton pump inhibitor or ranitidine, and we have to use antibiotic like metronidazole or clarithromycin or amoxicillin. Different combinations are there, and we we have 3 or 4 we have 3 types of combinations we can use. First is triple drug therapy. In triple drug therapy we will use PPI. Now PPI set combination will change of antibiotic. First is clarithromycin and amoxicillin. Second is clarithromycin and clarithromycin, amoxicillin and PPI. PPI is common. Second is clarithro plus metronidazole plus PPI. In place of amoxicillin it is metronidazole. Third is levofloxacin plus amoxicillin plus PPI. And the fourth is rifabutin, amoxicillin and PPI. ठीक है, मतलब PPI is common. वो different antibiotics or 2 antibiotics are used. Either it can be amoxicillin plus levofloxacin, amoxicillin plus clarithromycin plus metronidazole and rifabutin and amoxicillin. Mostly जो use होता है that is clarithromycin and amoxicillin. Okay. Now quadruple therapy में bismuth is added. Along with 2 antibiotics, 1 PPI, bismuth is added. Another is sequential therapy. What is sequential therapy? In sequential therapy we will give PPI and amoxicillin for 5 days. ठीक है, we will give PPI and amoxicillin for 5 days followed by PPI plus clarithromycin. मतलब कि 3 type of antibiotics is there, 3 types है ना. First we will give PPI and amoxicillin for 5 days, then for 5 days. After that PPI plus clarithromycin plus metronidazole for another 5 days. Okay, मतलब इसमें 2 type of treatments, 2 types of treatments are there, है ना. So these are the different regimens, and we have to know what are the different type of बोला जी कि the spectrum it can cause, है ना, spectrum of disease it can cause. What are the different spectrum it can cause? H. pylori infection cause enteral gastritis, it can cause pangastritis, it can, in the enteral gastritis it can cause destruction of the DSS, that is decrease in somatostatin secretion, causing hyperchlorhydria and severe GERD. And in pangastritis it can cause destruction of the parietal cells, there is increase in the HCl secretion, hypochlorhydria, and mild GERD symptoms are there. Okay. Now it can also cause chronic active gastritis, gastric atrophy, intestinal metaplasia, dysplasia, and gastric cancer. मतलब from chronic या active gastritis, acute gastritis से it can cause this type of this much of symptoms it can cause from chronic active gastritis से लेकर gastric metaplasia, intestinal metaplasia it can cause. That's why अगर we are suspecting, if we are suspecting a patient of having H. pylori infection, we should eradicate this H. pylori, because if it remains in the mucosa, it will cause changes in the form of metaplasia, है ना, so it can cause carcinomas also. So we have to, if as soon as we diagnose or as soon as we are suspecting from them from H. pylori, we should eradicate from either triple drug therapy, either quadruple therapy, either sequential therapy. ठीक है. In the triple drug therapy, we will treat with 2 antibiotics and PPI. The antibiotics can be amoxicillin, can be clarithromycin, can be levofloxacin, can be in the combination rifabutin or clarithromycin or metronidazole, है ना. And for quadruple therapy we will add bismuth. Okay, so these were the modality of treatment. What are the different pathogenesis of the organism. ठीक है. And we should also know about the different tests we used to do in this H. pylori infection. मतलब कि what are the different diagnostic tests for H. pylori. ठीक है. Diagnostic. For confirmation of test, मतलब different type of tests have different type of importance. Like for serology, what we will do, for surveillance, what we will do, for diagnosis of the case, what we will do. So first of all, we have learned about the serology. Serology is mostly least expensive and mainly reflects the previous infection, है ना. But it is not for for eradication confirmation. We will not do serology. Urea blood test, it is high. It has high negative or predictive positive predictive value, and false negative results possible in the presence of proton pump inhibitor, false negative test. Okay, with recent use of antibiotics we will get false negative test, and it is for personal diagnosis to मतलब mainly diagnostic test. Stool antigen test जो होता है ना, it is process of stool collection may be disasteful for this मतलब it will not be good, मतलब patient के favorable, it will not be there, and high negative and positive predictive value is there, and useful before and after treatment. This stool antigen test is okay. So this was H. pylori infection.